Ecumenical Movement of the Catholic Church. The Pope, leader of the Catholic Church, has been referred to as His Holiness, Holy Father, Vicar of Christ, Head of the Church, Father of Princes and Kings, Father of all Christians, Supreme Teacher of the Universal Church, Supreme Pontiff of the Universal Church, Viceroy of Jesus Christ, Bishop of Rome, and Rector of the world upon earth. When he is elected, he is crowned with a triple tiara, which, according to the Catholic dictionary, signifies the following. First circlet symbolizes the Pope's universal episcopate, the second his supremacy of jurisdiction, and third his temporal supremacy. It is placed on his head at his coronation by the second cardinal deacon, with the words, "Receive the tiara adorned with 3 crowns and know that thou art Father of princes and kings, ruler of the world, Vicar of our Savior Jesus Christ and Apos." The triple crown the Pope wears symbolizes his authority in heaven, on earth, and in the underworld as King of Heaven, King of Earth, and King of Hell, and that through his absolutions, pardons, souls are admitted to heaven. On the earth he attempts to exercise political as well as spiritual power, and through his special jurisdiction over the souls in purgatory and his exercise of the power of the keys he can release whatever souls he pleases from further suffering, and those whom he refuses to release are continued in their suffering, the decisions he makes on earth being ratified in heaven. And quote. On the fish-shaped hat worn by the Pope are the words Vicarius Filii Dei, which indicates that he is a substitute for the Son of God. And quote. In 1864, the position of the Catholic Church in regard to unity with other groups was, of course, nothing is more important for a Catholic than that schisms and dissensions among Christians be radically abolished and that all Christians be united. But under no circumstances can it be tolerated that faithful Christians and ecclesiastics be under the leadership of heretics, non-Catholic, and quote. Pope Pius XI, 1922-39 said, "The Apostolic See has never allowed Catholics to attend meetings of non-Catholics. The union of Christians can only go forward by encouraging the dissidents to return to the one true Church." And quote. Pope John XXIII, 1958-63 wrote, "When we have realized this enormous task, ecumenism, eliminating what, from a human point of view, would be an obstacle, on a path we seek to make more easy, we shall present the Church in all her splendor, without spot or wrinkle. And we shall say to all the others who are separated from us, Orthodox, Protestants, etc., see brothers, here is the Church of Christ. We have done our best to be true to her apostrophe." And quote. His papal encyclical Pacem in Terris was a bit more radical, as it called for world government, disarmament and socialism, and was compared to the program advocated by communism. On October 11, 1962, Pope John held the First Ecumenical Council at St. Peter's Basilica in Rome to modernize the Church. Over 2,700 gathered, including the entire Roman Catholic hierarchy, 28 non-Catholic prelates, representatives from most major Protestant denominations, and dignitaries from Eastern Orthodox churches in the Middle East. A few months after the initial meeting, the council reconvened with 2,500 ecclesiastical dignitaries, and 50 observers from non-Catholic denominations. After Pope John died, Billy Graham said at a press conference in Bonn, Germany, "Pope John brought an entirely new era to the world. It would be a great tragedy if the cardinals elect a pope who would react against the policies of Pope John and bring back the walls between Christian faiths." And quote. A year later, on September 29, 1963, Pope Paul VI, 1963-78 made an appeal for Christian unity, and said that the Ecumenical Council's ultimate goal was the universal union of all Christians. He wrote, "The restoration of unity among all Christians is one of the principal concerns of the Second Vatican Council. Christ the Lord founded one Church and one Church only. For it is only through Christ's Catholic Church, which is the all-embracing means of salvation, that they can benefit fully from the means of salvation." And quote. On March 26, 1967, Pope Paul wrote, "Who can fail to see the need and importance of thus gradually coming to the establishment of a world authority capable of taking effective action on the juridical and political planes? Delegates to international organizations, public officials, gentlemen of the press, teachers and educators, all of you must realize that you have your part to play in the construction of a new world order." And quote. One observation that was made about him was that he was elected in the 6th year of the previous pope's reign. In the 6th month, June, he was 66 years old, and he had completed 4 sets of 66 popes. There had been talk of a merger with the World Council of Churches, to form the Christian Catholic Church of the United Church of Christ, and Pope Paul even contributed $10,000 to the WCC's Faith and Order Commission. He wrote a papal encyclical that called on the nations to abandon sovereignty to form a world government. And quote. From October 24 to 28, 1999, Pope John Paul II, 1978, held an interfaith meeting at the Vatican that included Jews, Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists, Shintoists, as well as representatives from Orthodox, Anglican, Lutheran, and Evangelical churches. The Dalai Lama, a Buddhist, Tibet's exiled spiritual leader, who Pope John called a great spiritual leader, was invited on stage as the Pope spoke to the gathering. On September 5, 2000, the Catholic Church issued a document called Dominus Iesus, which declared the Roman Catholic Church to be the only instrument for the salvation of all humanity. Pope John Paul II said that Rome must always be the center of all Christianity and the Pope must be the head. For 2 years, a group of 8 Protestants, led by Charles Colson, the former Nixon aide, echoing sentiments expressed in his book The Body, and 7 Roman Catholics, led by Father Richard John Newhouse, former Lutheran, who denies the virgin birth of Christ, his miracles, and his resurrection, worked on a 25-page, 8,000-word document known as Evangelicals and Catholics Together, the Christian Mission in the Third Millennium. Or ECT, it calls for Protestants and Catholics to discontinue their opposition in order to unite against enemies which are common to both of their religious philosophies. In the November 1994 issue of Christianity Today, the magazine started by Billy Graham, an editorial by Colson was titled Why Catholics Are Our Allies. This seems to be part of a campaign to bring the two religions closer together in ideology. Since accepting the Prize for Progress in Religion, which included a $1 million gift from New Age leader John Templeton, at the 1993 Parliament of World's Religions in Chicago, and revelations of a United Nations connection to his prison fellowship ministry, Colson's motivations are highly suspect. In addition to many Roman Catholic leaders, some major Protestant leaders have signed this agreement, including Pat Robertson, 700 Club, Bill Seipel, World Vision, Bill Bright, Campus Crusade for Christ, J. I. Packer, a senior editor at Christianity Today magazine, Larry Lewis, Home Missions Board of the Southern Baptist Convention, and Richard Land, Christian Life Commission of the Southern Baptist Church. Needless to say, the agreement came under heavy fire from many evangelicals, and on January 19, 1995, Colson, Bright, and Packer met with some of the ECT critics at the Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in a conciliatory meeting which including its pastor D. James Kennedy, John MacArthur, pastor of the Grace Community Church in Sun Valley, California, R. C. Sproul, Ligonier Ministries, and John Ankerberg, evangelist. Though the two groups were able to hammer out a 5-point statement to clarify the support of those evangelical leaders that signed the agreement, it still retained the aura of religious unity. A Catholic signer, Keith Fournier, author of Evangelical-Catholics and A House United, Evangelicals and Catholics Together, praised the results of the meeting, and said that it represented the true spirit of ecumenism. Besides signing the agreement, Pat Robertson had Colson on his show, and brought in Newhouse to be a keynote speaker at the Christian Coalition's 700 Clubs Political Action Group, 1994 Road to Victory Conference held in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Also in 1994, Pat Robertson presented the Christian Coalition's Catholic Layman of the Year award to Pennsylvania Governor Robert P. Casey, a Democrat who was very vocal in his stand against abortion. Pat Robertson, in the eyes of some Christians, lost credibility when he entered the 1992 presidential campaign, saying God told him to run. Though he didn't win, it gave him more political clout and visibility in the Christian community, garnering some of the attention that had previously been bestowed on Billy Graham. Even though he had written a book about the New World Order, as a guest on Larry King's national radio show, he refused to comment on a caller's question about an element of the New World Order. In December 2003, while I was in the process of re-editing this book, on the Bring It On segment of his broadcast, he answered a viewer's question about the NWO by saying that it wasn't possible for one group to be able to have enough influence to control the affairs of the world. I can't say amen to that, just oh my. In Pat Robertson's book, The New Millennium, published in 1990 by Word Publishing, at the top of every page, to the right of the page number, is the symbol of a circle with a dot in the middle. An unusual symbol, it is used as an astronomical symbol for the sun. And for proofreaders, it is used to indicate a place where a comma should be inserted, and it is sometimes used as a mathematical sign for a circle. However, none of these applications seemed appropriate in this instance. There is one more use for this symbol. According to documents discovered by the German government in 1785, it was the secret symbol which represented the Illuminati's name. I contacted Word Publishing to ask them about the use of the symbol, since I didn't want to be accused of making an irresponsible accusation. They told me that various symbols, called dingbats, are sometimes incorporated into the header design of a page. In this case, the symbol was randomly chosen, and nobody at Word was even aware of the symbol's connotations. I had even considered that perhaps the symbol was used to sabotage the book, but Word maintains that everyone there is a committed Christian. If it was randomly chosen, it would really be a coincidence, because there are no other symbols that I know of that would lend itself to having any connections with the New World Order. Without a doubt, this book is a companion volume to Robertson's The New World Order published by Word in 1991. because I personally like Pat, and have nothing but respect for him. I guess we have to chalk it up as being an amazing coincidence. However, what I cannot ignore is the disturbing trend towards tolerance and coexistence that is succeeding to bring us closer to a united church, which he, and others, seems to advocate. One night, I caught Jack Van Impe on his show, saying that he agreed with the Pope on almost every issue. Now here is a man who has done a tremendous amount of prophetic research, and yet by condoning the Catholic Church, he is contributing to the ecumenical movement. Paul Crouch of the Trinity Broadcasting Network has said, "I'm eradicating the word Protestant even out of my vocabulary. I am not protesting anything. It's time for Catholics and non-Catholics to come together as one in the Spirit and one in the Lord." Robert Schuller, called the Norman Vincent Peale of the West Coast, who is known to be accepting of Islam, New Age and other cult groups, and has met with the Pope 4 times, has said, "It's time for Protestants to go to the Shepherd, or the Pope, and say, what do we have to do to come home?" It seems inevitable that sometime in the near future, the last remaining obstacles to a merger between the Roman Catholic Church and the World Council of Churches, into a world church, will take place, and will contribute to the influence exercised by the New World Order.